I'm very, very happy today because spontaneously we have Chrissy, who is a regular at the S.H.O.P, Social Hub of Positivity, and we do many things when Chrissy's around. We have lots of lovely discussions, poetry, arts, and music. We like a little bit of a sing-song. We have a little... I've even put on the open mic when me and Chrissy did Drugs Don't Work. Oh, mate. Do you want to put that on or not?
If you want.
Yeah, okay. It's just because I laid that on you as well, just to give you a kind of heads up of what's going on. So Chris is in here in the S.H.O.P, the Social Hub of Positivity in Emery Gate in Chippenham, right? And she's getting her art stuff out because she does beautiful bits of art, poetry, puts it on the wall in the S.H.O.P. Come and see it if you're in Chippenham. So we said to Chrissy, who's, by the way, not a Scouser. We didn't say to her, we didn't say, Chrissy, by the way, you're not a Scouser. We said, Chrissy, that's lovely, and we talked about the poem. We said, oh, well, we'll do the poem for the open mic. So Chrissy just straight off did a performance of that. And I think, actually, we may as well put it in this podcast as well.
Creation and destruction. Creation is love. It creates itself. Destruction is hate. It destroys creation. Creation destroys as it needs to for reasons of regeneration. Destruction creates for its own gain. It also creates out of malice. Creation gives. Destruction takes. It covets because it is jealous.
This is what I'm talking about, people. I'm talking about nice, comfortable, creative environment where people can come in and share of their ideas and thoughts. And you do all sorts, but I'm not gonna talk. I'm gonna introduce you now, Chrissy. Tell everyone who you are and what you do and what the crack is, mate.
This is my place where I come for a bit of sanity in my life, and I like to do stuff, singing, knitting. If I can knock out a little bit of a poem, I will. Got a few half-written stories. I'm planning on doing some more art. I've done a menu, the Mad Hatter's menu, and I'm planning on making a drinks menu because that's a food menu, and one of the other Kandu regulars, Phil Rice. So let's do a drinks menu as well. So that's what my next project is. I've just started it.
Brilliant. You got an example of your knitting there, is it not? Is that not an example of your knitting? Don't you knit those things? Annie's got them, haven't you? That's lovely.
This, and I've got a bear in the shop at the moment, an unfinished bear.
Okay. And are you going to take part in Mary Quarmby's glass workshops? Do you know they're coming up? Do you know the new exhibition in the front?
I saw the glass, yeah.
What do you think about that?
Fab.
Isn't it? It's absolutely fantastic. So there's the workshops. We're going to put the dates in this. Right, I'm also going to show you this. What do you reckon about this?
Can I have it?
You can't, because it's just been given to me by the wonderful Sarah Walker. You know, you worked with Sarah doing the bunting for the Unlock Reset Festival, didn't you? Thank you for that, by the way. Another great thing that you've done with the group, with us all. She did that knitting. You did the phone thing for Annie.
Yeah.
So is it possible for people to come into the shop and do that? But the Mary Quarmby thing, we've known Mary Quarmby for a while. She did a beautiful piece she donated to when we did a refugee project with our old beautiful supporter. Oh, it's not old at all. Melanie C.
Wow.
And yeah, so when we did that, you know, because part of the exhibition is still here with the local artists Ray Melody and Harriet Wyatt, etc. Really great stuff. Alex Moran. I keep remembering names as I'm doing it. You see, I'm boring. You know, you can tell that you're still awake is amazing. So we did that art exhibition. Mary Quarmby did this beautiful glass lamp because she's like a really sought after artist,
wow. Which
she donated, and we took the exhibition and we took a group from the Harbour Project in Swindon who we're working alongside visitors, refugees in other people's terms, down to the launch of the single that we recorded with Melanie C and the art exhibition. And off camera, I was sort of saying to Mel, "What do you think of all the art?" She went, "Yeah, it's great. She's Gaza." Wigan. Is it? It's not Wigan, it's what you call it. Anyway, well, it's not Wigan. Oh, I'm going to be in trouble. She sounds, and she saw Mary's lamp. She thought, I really like that. So when she came up, why am I impersonating a Spice Girl? I mean, why would I do that?
Because you want to.
I don't know. I just, there's a thing, isn't there? You know what I mean?
You just do what you fancy.
You do what you fancy. You do what you fancy. Who's this now? Who's this now inhabiting my brain? It's not a Spice Girl, but it's a nice girl. Anyway, when she came up in 2018 to do the Kandu Arts 20th anniversary concert for us with in the grounds of S.H.O.P, which was amazing with all the local artists and what have you, Mary presented it as a gift. So it's one of the things. Yeah. So I've been dying to get Mary Cornby. Long story short, so she presented to Melanie C at that. We should find the photographs of Mary Cornby giving it to Melanie. Put it in this podcast. So I've been wanting Mary Cornby to do stuff in this shop since we started, and due to COVID, obviously, you know, the restrictions, we haven't been able to. So I'm actually dead chuffed. Are you going to take part in the glass making? Because she's making glass stars.
Dates allowing, and depending on how I feel on the day, because I do have conditions.
Yeah.
But I'm aim to, you know.
Yeah.
It'd be good for me to show up.
Well, yeah, but also it's just because, as well. I mean, all the art workshops that go on here have been beautiful and sort of really, really positive. Obviously, the Mental Health Week, we do all these different ones. Mark's been in doing the clocks. Mark's clocks again.
Yeah.
Fantastic. He did that half marathon the other day, man. He's great. Collins. So getting Mary in, if you can, we'll put the dates up here because she's doing a few quite soon, isn't it? Is it next week? I just said wiping snot everywhere. I think is it not? 10th. It starts on the 10th, does it? Well, look, let's put this. We'll put this
next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. So see you next Tuesday, everyone. Anyone that wants to come to the Mary Cornby glass making, star making workshops. Here's the crack now. Also, you're going to be there. Meet you. Maybe they could order one of your phone. Yeah. Can you show it to the camera? Can you see that in that camera, man? Yeah, you make them, don't you?
I do.
Right, so people could either learn to make them alongside you or whatever.
If people want them,
they
need to give me the measurements with their cases on.
Yeah.
All money goes to Kandu.
Excellent.
I
didn't even know that. So let's really, everyone, come in and get one of them, don't you?
The other thing.
I don't know if Sarah's going to be doing these to order, but
yeah, I might have one.
What I'm thinking though is maybe we could persuade her to come and do some workshops and workshops. Everyone sit around and have a knit. It's a hell of a thing to do. I love it. I mean, I pick the colours and everything. I absolutely love it. Yeah, no, gorgeous.
Give me a pattern and I'll knit one.
Well, speak to Sarah about it. But Sarah Walker, thank you very much.
Tuesday, I've got an appointment that I've already postponed.
Yeah.
Any day that I can come.
Yeah, well, there's a few. I think it's a Tuesday and a Thursday. As if mine's actually.
Thursdays.
Choked to death.
Thursdays aren't good. But Tuesdays and Wednesdays normally are.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad that we've had this diary comparison social thing on air. What else are you doing? What are your main features in your life? What's rocking your boat? What's getting you out of it?
The positive things I'd like to stick with.
You can.
I'm learning a lot about inner work. How can I put it? Let me find the words. Learning about a thing called Internal Family Systems by Chrissy Cooney. He's a doctor. He says we've all got parts to us. Each one of us is a collection of parts. Each part might behave badly, but they all mean well. That's really it, unless you want me to go into a long screed about it.
Well, I mean, part of this idea for the space and part of the idea for these podcasts are about people in our community, sharing ideas, sharing motivations. Some people have got ideas that people might not agree with. But if they're my ideas, they're obviously right. So if you don't agree with them, do you know what I mean? Maybe question yourselves. Yeah?
Same here as well. My ideas are right.
And I know I can't vouch for your ideas, Chrissy. I definitely come from my.
I don't like people arguing with me. I'm only joking.
Well, I don't know about that. What I'm saying is, so the exchange of ideas to promote debate, to freedom of thought and association, and how we learn from each other instead of all these doctrines that have been, instilled in us for all these years.
I'm learning
Politics, organised religion.
exactly.
Really?
I'm learning
Local politics. Come on now.
the mainstream media talks a load of.
But why does it?
Because it wants to control the population.
Does it want to, or do the people that control it want to control the population?
Well, the control.
So are there people behind the puppeteer, the puppet masters? Because let's face it, it's quite blatant to see. If you're talking about any politician, not just in living memory, remembering that Chippenham back in the day was one of the rotten boroughs. So the corruption in Chippenham has been a thing for a long time. Look at your history, everyone. But obviously people watch this from all over the place, so check out your own history and your localities and see just how fair. But if you look at national politics, and as this, I don't know when this is going out, but imagine it's going out this Friday, they've got the Conservative conference in Manchester.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I mean, but it's like, really, wait a minute, why is anyone giving, how Boris, bless him, he's obviously, had a lot of emotional problems as a child, been separated from his family and put into, what I like to call social care for rich people, i.e. boarding school.
Yeah.
We can look back in history and look at that and go, no wonder they made the decisions they did. But forgetting the fact that he's been a proven liar, forget that he's stuck up for people like Priti Patel, who's been proven to be a bully, that he, allegedly, according to papers and according to the news and what have you, Matt Hancock. I mean, how is he still a politician? How is it the fact that, forget about his close connections with his mate from university, Kissy. What about his sister, Associate, allegedly having a company that got, money for PPI and stuff like that? It's like, well, everyone's just going to allow that to happen, are they? Boris is obviously not a thinker. He's obviously not a strategist. He's quite obviously not, in any way, has an ethical or a moral compass that allows what most people would consider to be, proactive for our community. Look at his history, look at his history of proven lies, look at his mate that was threatening to beat up a thing. It's all these things. So if people don't, and I think this is what's happened, most people realise that, like organised religion, the politician is just a sham. It's not real. Getting involved in party politics now is kind of like children dressing up in their parents' clothing. It's like, really? You're not really though, are you? It's not real. Like local politics. I find that something about local politics that has truly saddened me.
There's basically the whole idea of the cosmos. The meaning of life is to live, to learn, and to love and to evolve. We've got good versus evil. Now, anything that smells bad, as in the Houses of Parliament, don't smell too good right now, does it?
Whatever. It never has. It's always been corrupt.
Yeah, the corruption smells off.
Yeah.
Nature, spirituality, and that can mean creating a piece of art, it can mean singing a song, it can mean playing a game of footy, doing whatever you want to do, helping people. That feels good and it smells good. It's good to us.
I think so. Good. I want to know everyone's there. I think the idea that we shouldn't talk about politics and religion. The reason we're taught not to do that, particularly in pubs, I used to run debating societies in pubs.
Because it'd be a fight.
No, not really. Even with all the people from all the different backgrounds, in reality, they've been set against each other, so they don't turn to the real perpetrators of this immorality. Right. So we're talking about we're turned on different classes, we're turned on different ethnicity, we're turned on different religions, we're turned on different colours of hair. If it came down to it, the point of the matter is, we're always taught to hate something other than, and I don't agree with hate. I definitely don't agree with violence. No. I do not agree with violence. No. It's as soon as you get into the realms of violence, then you get justification from the people, the elites, to use other poor people to kill other people just based on violence. It's a non-starter for me, absolute non-starter. However, the idea that we as individuals can pass on information, the whole flow of information in education used to be controlled by the churches, the private schools, where a lot of them were set up to help poor kids. Isn't that ironic? That place like Eton was set up, to help poor kids and end up...
Comedy.
But it is in a sense, because the actual fact is, if you look at it, if you take Boris, and their charities as well, appalling. Anyway, if you take Boris, he is a poor kid. There's not one, because regardless of the fact that he's been conditioned not to be able to turn to his parents for emotional support because they've, whatever justifications they might have had, they've abandoned him.
They are
essentially. Of course they are. They're abandoned kids. So they're there you go. So that's why they can make these ridiculous things like HS2 absurd, based on financial gain. Where they're like, so where are you gonna spend all this money when everyone's dead? And this is part of the problem with the argument, I don't know, about Insulate Britain and XR, Extinction Rebellion. It's like Nikki Campbell on 5 Live yesterday was trying to goad the Insulate Britain geezer into saying, so would you have, why does he speak like Terry Wogan? Would you have, would you have, what if your child was in an ambulance? Would you still think? And he just kept going on at this guy, and I'm thinking, well, okay, Nikki, how about this? Which do you think's more important? One child, i.e. your child, Nikki, or 10 million people that are going to die, right? So that's the equation. Which is more important? Oh yeah, and people are pretty much telling everyone else, oh, they're really inconveniencing people to get to where quicker, to get to the environmental destruction of ourselves. It's not in a way that people think that these people care more about pandas than they do about people. They don't. You can't survive at all if the sea rises so much or we are baking from the hot sun. Yeah. So Insulate Britain have a good point, and we shouldn't be building countless houses regardless. No. And if they were, they should be environmentally sound. We should be building on brownfield sites, and people shouldn't be allowed to own more than one house. Discuss people. It's the solution. We cannot. Definitely, certainly around Chippenham, the Wiltshire Council keep trying to fob us off because they've no doubt got some sort of financial gain that they're going to gain. People that don't live in and around Chippenham making decisions, and the ones that do have made appalling decisions. And I don't know if other people have said to me there must be some sort of way for them to want to do that other than the benefit of the society, like the Bridge Centre being knocked down. Absolute disgrace.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So all these things are interlinked. I don't like even to think about God, let alone religion, let alone sci-fi. I want to know what's happening on a day-to-day basis in our community.
Chippenham.
No, and we can talk about anything. I'm just saying that when we go, oh my God, what's the point? Then you have a person that supports Insulate Britain saying, well, I'll tell you what the point is. We've only got the clock's ticking, everyone. We're really in a desperate situation, and I obviously, because the media, going back to the mass media, because they're owned by people that they're not interested in the news, they're interested in controlling people's ideas and thoughts and voting patterns and what have you. Democracy, as I'm putting out in Chippenham. Well, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist at all in Chippenham. Anyway, on a day-to-day basis, how would you change the town? What do you think this needs more of in this town?
Well, I must admit, I don't watch the news.
I'm loving the fact that you still keep looking at it as if you're reading off there. Do you want me to put that down just so you can relax?
Yeah, it's distracting.
It's good though.
I don't watch the news.
No, I'm not surprised.
I am interested in Chippenham, but we don't get to decide. I don't watch local politics, and I don't do politics because they're all puppets and they're all told what to do.
Yeah.
And they lie. I mean, I have read a bit about these traffic lights on station there. Yeah. Bit of a joke.
Well, I don't understand why they think all these supermarkets they keep popping up.
Oh yeah.
All these decisions that they think they can impose on a town and its people without consultation. Yeah. That's where the local town council need to step up. It's like we shouldn't have any decisions made by Wiltshire Council. We're all big enough and brave enough and clever enough. Some of us clever enough to run our own local economy, run our own roads and our buildings, not just willy-nilly being told just because it suits the Conservatives to knock down buildings and have attrition, get rid of the poor, essentially, because what they've been doing is immoral.
It's urbanisation of this little town that's doing my head in.
Yeah.
Let's build loads of houses, let's put loads of ugly roads through. We don't want them. We're not interested in commuters and, you know, seeing... I don't like the Avenue of Fresh where I live. I live near a conservation area.
Yeah.
And then there's the ugly Avenue of Fresh, so I get all the bird song first, and then I get the cars. I don't want that, mate.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want... This town wasn't meant to be Swindon, it's Chippenham.
Yeah.
It's not Little Swindon.
Yeah. That's the problem with it, isn't it? The problem with it is it's because it's got a rail and a motorway link, and the people that are trying to make decisions or try to get there, I don't know if they're friendly with all these big developers, but there's money that's changing hands, which you know, I don't know if it's legal or not legal, but allegedly it's, you know, decisions are trying to be forced upon us regardless of what we say. So if the town council don't step up for us, they need to step aside, because I'm thinking the county can't. We shouldn't be a part. We should be in an independent little borough, and linked with other towns around, and not be at the mercy of even of the centralised aspect of Wiltshire Council, and so on throughout the country.
We're a market town, and we've been doing fine for. Chippenham's an old town. Why do they suddenly want to try and change it into Little Swindon?
Well, it's not just that. They didn't have enough facilities for the young people, let alone the senior citizens, before any of this development. And it's just got worse and worse. How many secondary schools do you think one town can have? How many, and so on and so forth, doctor surgeries, you name it. It's absolutely, of course, remember, developers don't care.
No.
And then Wiltshire Council say this, and makes me laugh. But the government, it's like, the government, you talking about the government of, which government are you talking that said that we should have this amount of houses? And it's not correct number anyway. But which government are you talking about? And do you think that I want to listen to an abandoned child like Boris, who sticks up for his mates regardless of their morality, even though they've been caught out bullying, etc., etc.? He's a proven liar. And he was responsible, him on his watch, for hundreds of thousands of people dying. Well, definitely thousands of people dying unnecessarily, because he hasn't got an empathetic understanding of community or life, and that he was allowed to make one more decision. There should have been a war cabinet straight away. When there's a national disaster, if we're going to pretend to play at this game of politics, there should be like a war council. So all the gifted and talented from all the parties, so that's not very many people, in a special cabinet, and all party politics is put aside, and until it still isn't gone, the pandemic or the big threat at the time is dealt with.
Well,
you can't afford to have buffoons at the helm. Anyway, we've covered lots of chops. Considering we weren't even doing this has been a little trip down everyone's lane. Anything else you'd particularly like to say?
Flown around the cosmos.
Yeah.
Been on the front of the battlefields. We've been in the Houses of Parliament.
Yeah.
We've been in Wiltshire Council. Yeah, we have done a pretty old tour about, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Right, I'm going to end it there. You're good. Thank you very much for that. That's a spontaneous one. I'll say thank you to Maya. Thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you on every gate. Thank you to everyone in Chippenham and the surrounding areas, and all the wonderful people at Kandu, and all the schools and everything else we support. Be calm, be cool, be collective, but don't be conservative. I'm only joking. I ain't joking. Bye.
Held within the flowers.